Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards. Use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that. Look at the fullness of this Ten of Cups. This is picture-perfect happiness. This card is all about dreams coming true. Yeah. Let's put this into some context. Yeah, that is a very, very positive way to start a reading. So I think that we are all ready to start manifesting our dreams, ready to start living our dreams. Maybe we need to spend some time figuring out what these dreams are. Yeah. Now we've got that Prince of Swords, double air. This is air on air. So to me, this says that we really are trying to find some clarity now as to what it is that we really are dreaming about. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is the time in your life where this is ready to happen. You know, I think that you have this deep feeling in your gut that something is about to happen, that something is about to really take off. And I feel like you've never had that kind of certainty before, you know. But now we've got the Devil energy, Moon energy. We've got another Prince. This is a Prince of Cups. And I think this is really us figuring out what our dreams are and moving forward in this energy, in this feeling of certainty. It's almost like the universe is saying, whatever effort you put in, it will match you, right? And I think that's always a fair deal. And we've got the Sun card over here. We've got the Eon, Judgment, Rebirth, Reawakening. A lot of major arcana energy already, and the Death card. Wow, we even have your Power card here, and the Fool. Look at that. This has never happened before. All major arcana energies. And this is really a lot of cards that talk about transformation and transition here. The Moon card, this is the doorway. This is saying something has got to change. I don't know what, I don't know where I'm going, but something has to happen at some point, right? The Eon card, this is the fiery doorway. This is the portal to the future, right? This is that decision that you're making to be fully on board with what you feel here. Right? And then, of course, the Death card. This is the ultimate card of transformation, right? Life and death. Yeah? Rebirth. Like that's the fundamental process, the fundamental change, the fundamental kind of power of transformation and transition and evolution in our world. So you have a lot of cards of transformation here. And I think that's a very good sign. Now, we're going to pick the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We will just set this down over here. We'll put Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, all right? But it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during the reading you feel like you know what that card is, or you have a hunch, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments, all right? Let's make it a group exercise in intuition. All right, let's get started here. We've got a lot of major arcana energies to talk about, a lot going on in your life right now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is probably the most major arcana energy that I've ever seen in one single reading. And on top of that, all we have otherwise is water and a little bit of air. So it's kind of like there is this uncertainty about the water energy where we've got this feeling, we've got this sense of purpose and destiny that we're trying to kind of work out. We're kind of on the fence about something maybe. And I think it has a lot to do with this Eon card, this Judgment card, because that is like a doorway that's right before you. And if we should go through that doorway, life will never be the same again. But you've got to be certain that that's what you want to do. Now, we're not certain. Here's the Moon card. We're not certain about what the future will actually look like. We don't have all of the details. We can't predict the future. You know, as much as we may try, we don't know exactly how things are going to look like. So we've got this Moon energy as kind of the starting point. And I think that this is some past energy for you. This is, to me, the uncertainty that we've been living with. This idea that something has to change, something doesn't feel right, but I can't really put my finger on it. Yeah. And so with this Moon card, there's a darkness in front of us. There is a veil over our eyes, and we can't quite see what the future is, is going to be bringing us. Now, this card actually has a little beetle, the beetle of transformation, which connects us with that death card. And it has, obviously, that solar disk, which connects us with this sun card. And this is really, there's a clue in this card. Because as dark as the night seems, as uncertain as the future might be, as confused as we might feel, as scared as we might feel, there is the promise that the sun will rise. You know, there is this promise that things will become clear to you, that you will know. The only way to know is to go, right? The closer we get to it, the more light shines on it, because ultimately we're the light. You're the light. You're the sun energy. This is down here in your general energy. And so the only way to really to see the future is to, walk into it, because we are the light. So the more we walk into that room, the brighter the room gets, the more details we can see. Some of you, Spirit's telling me to mention the ocean or a large body of water, very significant to some of you. I think some of you are also having an issue with your foot or ankle or something in that area of the body, right? Sometimes these details come in as just a way to confirm that we're in the right energy and that we're, it's meant as a validation, I think, for some of you, or a synchronicity. So we've got the Ten of Cups. That's our first card that came out. This is the kind of life we're looking for. We want the picture-perfect life. We want our dreams to manifest. We want to feel as if we're living in our dream life. I mean, can you imagine what that would feel like? I think we all can imagine that, what it would feel like, living in your dream life. How do we get there? What is it? What are the details? We know the feeling. We can guess how it's going to feel. But how do we get there? What are the details? What are we actually doing? Who's with us? How are we living? Where are we living? I think maybe the large body of water is part of it for some of you. We don't quite know the details yet. Yeah. And I think this is something that we're still trying to figure out. We know we want that feeling. We're chasing that feeling. But maybe we need a little bit of clarity. Maybe we need to figure out what this is that we're doing. Now, with the Prince of Swords right here in the middle, okay, to me, this is us being on the fence about something. Maybe we have this idea of which way we want to go, of what direction to take, but it's maybe a very big step, and that could be why we've got the Eon or Judgment card, is that kind of large doorway that's going to take a lot of effort to get through. It's a big decision. So maybe we're on the fence about something. I also feel with the Prince of Swords here that there is, I'm getting the feeling that there is a sibling or a brother or somebody, some contemporary to you, a peer, someone your age that maybe has passed. Someone in your life that was, and maybe they haven't transcended the physical form, but I feel like they're not physically near you any longer. Okay, so it could be a friend that maybe the two of you kind of have, there's been some distance between the two of you. Could be a sibling, the same kind of thing. Could be someone that's transitioned, but I think it's someone that's no longer near you in the physical realm. Okay. And I'm getting something with the back of the head. I don't know if maybe if that's how they pass, something to do with the back of the head. But I feel like this person was someone that you used to share your dreams with. that maybe we had this kind of conversation a lot with this person, that this was someone that we could maybe bounce ideas off of, that we could, share these kinds of plans with, and that would give us, honest feedback. But I think the Prince of Swords generally is us talking about those things that we assume we know, right? We have these fixed beliefs because this kind of represents that fixed air energy. Sometimes there are things we think we know, decisions that we've made in the past, and we said, I'm never going to do that. Or we say, I'm always going to believe this, I'm always going to do things this way, this is who I am, and I believe in this. But this card's asking us to be a little more fluid with what we think we know, with what we think we feel, with what we think we believe, right? And I think that's why it's kind of leading us into this Prince of Cups as well, because with the fixed air energy, this is like, I'm trying to think of an example. For this channel, right, I swore that I see a lot of channels, they get their YouTube plaque, that silver plaque thing. And they like to put that on their set somewhere and display that. And I always said, I'm never going to do that. That's something I don't believe in. I don't need to kind of show off that, hey, look, I've got, to make it kind of part of my set design, I've always said, well, that's not something that I'm going to do. But now I'm realizing that I can change my mind anytime I want. Maybe tomorrow I'll say, you know what, that plaque would look good right there. Maybe I'll put it there. But there's this idea that we're not so fixed in the decisions that we made that now we feel like we can never change our mind, even if really we don't believe the same things anymore, but that we can never change our mind. We have to be open, just open to the possibility. And I think these two cards are an example of that what we think we know has to be fluid. The commitments that we make in our beliefs and our understandings of the world, they have to be fluid. We can change our mind tomorrow, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a hypocrite. It doesn't mean that you're unsure of yourself. It doesn't mean anything. It means that you've come to a deeper or fuller awareness of reality, of your personal reality, and that's warranted you changing your opinion about something. We're allowed to change our opinions. Yeah. And I think this is a really big situation for you as you try to navigate the next few months of your life, okay? Because I think there really is a big decision. It could be like a big opportunity that is kind of, looming for you. And I think if you were to go through this doorway, it would be something that would change your life forever. And I don't think there'd be really any going back, right? Now, with this idea of not going back, we can, of course, we get through this doorway, we can change our minds, right? But I feel like this is such a big step that life won't be the same afterwards. You could decide ultimately on the other side of that door that, I really don't want to do this. And that's okay. You can change your mind. I think a big theme in the reading today is that fact that we're allowed to change our opinions. We're allowed to change how we feel about something, what we think about it, how much we value certain things. Okay? So, the Wheel of Fortune down here at the bottom. I feel like you've always been good at making money, right? You've always been pretty good at making ends meet, right? I think you would maybe consider yourself a fairly lucky person that when things have gotten really bad, something usually will come along that'll help. It may not be the magic cure-all, but things seem to work out okay, right? And I think that's just this kind of like this spiritual harmony or resonance that you have with the universe, where there's just this little bit of trust that says, I'm going to do everything that I can. There's a lot that is outside of our control, right? And we have to realize that sometimes it's not us steering the wheel, right? If we look at this as the wheel of a ship or a steering wheel in a car, we can only do so much. We can't control the other drivers out on the road. So we have to be able to adapt and move with it. And I think when we're in that harmonious kind of space, then we just seem to glide through the difficulties, right? But I feel like right now you're thinking that you're kind of at the bottom of this wheel and you could really use a good dose of this kind of spiritual good fortune, right? This luck. And I feel like this is you knowing that something very big is meant for you, that something really is happening in your life right now. And I think part of this, the confusion here is that we really don't know what it is, but we're ready for it. And it's almost like we have to kind of take this step through this unknown door before we will realize exactly what is taking place. You won't know what's on the other side of this until we walk through it. Now, I'm also feeling that, this is strange, but Spirit is telling me to mention the praying mantis, those cute little bugs. I feel like one either landed on you or you had one as a pet, or just the image is something that you've always kind of been drawn to. I feel like that's a real symbol of good luck for you, a real symbol of luck, a symbol of abundance and prosperity. It's a very auspicious symbol for you. And I think maybe you have an experience with that maybe you did have one as a pet, or that one landed on you in kind of a funny way, that you can remember, something along those lines. These details sometimes come through as just a way of validating the energy that we're in. Okay. Let's see here, where to go next. Well, we got to talk about the devil energy. Okay. And this is really that ambition, and this is kind of that self-possessed energy. And like I said at the beginning, it's kind of like Spirit is matching you. If you have this kind of accepting energy, it's kind of an energy that takes life as it comes, right? That I don't really see you like shaking your fists at the sky. I feel you are trying to work with what you've got, with whatever's happening in your life that you can't control. You're trying your very best to navigate it. You're trying to control yourself and make the very best of what may seem like an impossible situation, right? And I feel like Spirit recognizes this and is saying with these cards here that whatever your efforts are, Spirit is going to match those efforts, okay? I feel like and we might be talking about this peer, this contemporary of yours, if it's a sibling or a friend or a cousin or maybe a coworker, someone that you were very close with that's not in your life anymore. I feel like there was something strange about lamps for them. I don't know why I'm seeing a bunch of just like lamps, like in like a hardware store. But I wonder if they maybe were a collector, if you're a collector of lamps, or if you're very drawn to those kind of ornate, lamps and that sort of thing. But to me, that's just a kind of a connection. All these energies are connected, right? So sometimes we don't know where those kinds of symbols are coming from, where those details are coming, or who they're meant for. But for some of you, that's going to be a confirmation, okay? Now, we, of course, talked about the Prince of Cups, and I really feel like this is our ability to adapt and be fluid and to really be able to change our thoughts and feelings as we need to, right? This stuff is not set in stone. And I think the part of the Ten of Cups even is confirming that, because we think of the 10, we think of the creation as being finished, right? We think of the 10 of Cups as being the water energy that is done, right? Finished product. But I don't think the process of creation is ever finished, right? It's not like something is just kind of etched into stone and this is creation and this is how you feel and this is what you want. Because as we know with mathematics sort of thing, that, when we get to the 10, it's really just a return to unity, the 1 and the 0, right? So the 10 is not the end state. It's not something that's fixed and permanent and etched in stone. It's kind of the beginning of the process again. So once we get to the 10 of something, like the 10 of Cups, it's time to look at it, revise it, and start over. It's kind of like we got to work the bugs out of it. We got to go on to the next version of something. It's going to be, our beliefs and values 2.0. And we're allowed to do that. And I think more than that, we're required to do that. Because once we feel like this is it, I know everything there is to know, we stop making progress. We stop learning. We stop growing. We stop evolving. So I think the 10 really has that message implied in it. Now let's go to the path of the serpent. And as I do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Okay? I'm really fascinated to see how worldwide our community and our audience is here. I really appreciate all of you. Okay, so we're going over to the path of the serpent now, and here we've got that sun card. And like I said, this is you kind of being the lamp. This is you being the source of illumination in your own life, right? And this is really, sometimes the sun card is just talking about you having the ability to perceive things, that we're not blinded. It's not that we get to the 10 of Cups, we turn our lights off, right? Driving down the highway with no headlights on, that's not a good idea. We always have to be ready to see everything, ready for new information. We never know what our consciousness, our beams of light, right, the solar rays of consciousness are going to find. And we're not judging, we're not really discriminating it. We're taking what we perceive at face value. Right? We're accepting it for what it is. Now we have to internalize it, figure out if it's something we need or not. But we're not just rejecting the appearance of things and saying, no, I'm not going to shine my light on that. Not that one. We're open to everything. We're open to changing our minds. We're open to new beliefs, new possibilities, new career choices, new possibilities for relationships even, right? I'm still getting this this contemporary male, I think it's a male energy with this one. And I feel that I'm still getting the back of the head thing for them, but I also am getting an R name, and I don't know if they were the heavy drinker or someone in your life was kind of known for their alcohol consumption, or they're known for having a very specific drink that they would drink, and they would drink nothing else, you know. I had an uncle that his favorite saying was, you'd offer him a beverage, he says, I only drink beer, wine, or water. That's it. That's all he would drink, right? And if you offered him anything else, he would say, no, beer, wine, or water. Anyway, a lot of drinkers in my family. That's why I have chosen to abstain from alcohol. But I feel like there's someone, and it might be, again, this R, maybe an R name person. It could be this contemporary male energy, something with the back of the head. But with the sun energy here, I feel like this is really you open to these possibilities, and you're really, there's a certain confidence with the sun card. Yeah, there is a certain bravery. There's this idea that you're ready to go through with this choice, whatever this doorway is. Now, the Eon card is very much a gateway, a portal to the future. Yeah. So I think there really is a kind of big choice in front of you, a big opportunity. And it may be, again, on the other side, we can't really see what it is. It's asking for a lot. It's a fiery doorway. It's not going to feel good walking through it, right? And what that kind of means to me is that as you go through this, as you make this choice, it's going to require you to shed a lot of old stuff, right? It's kind of going to be like it's going to burn off all of the old crusty stuff that you don't need anymore, you know? And this really could be our attachments, our beliefs, our values, things we thought we wanted, things we thought we knew, things that we have been clinging to. I wonder if the mystery card will be the Four of Pentacles. Things that we've been clinging to just because it's always been there. Now it's time to let those things go, right? And a lot of that is like these beliefs and values that we've held on to since we were younger, and it's just built into us. We just think, well, that's who I am. Well, do you still believe those things? Do you still feel that way about these issues or whatever, it might be? So we have to be willing to let go of those. And I think that this decision is really requiring you to step boldly into your future. Yeah, boldly into your future. And that is a fiery doorway. I'm still seeing It's so funny. I'm still seeing all these ornate lamps, like Tiffany lamps and just like stained glass kind of lamps, like those desk lamps, you know, which I kind of always wanted to have one here on my tarot table, but there's just not enough room. But I'm seeing a bunch of those, so I don't know if someone in your family collected those, or if you have a memory of someone, maybe like grandma or something had like a very, very beautiful lamp. And it's almost that they don't really provide that much light, but they're really pretty to look at, you know? And in some way, I think that's a metaphor for some of this stuff that we're talking about. But I think someone in your family there has had a lamp like that you remember, and it's kind of sticking in your memory there. The next card is, of course, your power card. And this is something it's in a weird position. This is your power card, but it's in the position of what you don't want. Now, why would you not want this? This is your power. This is you, activating those parts of yourself that you're now able to really look at and see and clear away all the stuff that doesn't matter anymore. Right? You're really activating your true self. You're really coming to know your true self. But maybe this is the difficulty. Because if we look, we have the Fool on the other side. Maybe there's this fear that if we really took this good look at ourselves and made these big changes in our lives, that we wouldn't know who we are anymore. So you got the Fool on the other side. The Fool doesn't have a sense of self. Yeah. The Fool doesn't have a sense of self. So this really is, it's kind of one of those catch-22s. It's like we have to go through this doorway, and really it's an internal doorway. Though I think there is an opportunity in your life right now to do something major, to make some big changes, to make a big decision. But it's going to require that you really shed this solar light on yourself. And maybe we're getting down to the real nitty-gritty of ourselves, the real bones of who we are, right? And then on the other side of that, there's this fear that we won't be a person. We won't have a self. We won't know who we are, right? Because the Fool is the zero. The Fool has no sense of self. The Fool is just pure experience. Very Buddhist in this way, where it's just, there's nothing permanent. There's nothing that I am that I cannot let go of, right? And so we get down to that pure kind of consciousness, and it almost, at least in terms of spiritual experience and meditation and the kind of the chakra activation, Raja Yoga, the idea of entering nirvana or samadhi, it's a reduction of everything to zero. When we think of the spiritual experience, we think of the Western idea of the ecstasy, of the union in love with our God, goddess, deity, our true self, higher self, guardian angels. And I think that's part of it, but I think even at the end of the day, beyond that, because see, we have that kind of, now we're getting a little mystical here, but with the Sun card, we have that idea of the ecstatic union with our God or goddess or deity, the higher power, our true self, guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, whatever you call it, here with the Sun card. But there is a stage of spiritual experience beyond that, which is kind of a reduction of everything to zero. Yeah. And I wonder if, maybe it's not that intense for you, right? Maybe you're not someone that's pursuing that kind of spiritual experience, but the more we examine ourselves, the more we lose a sense of who we are, because we're discarding things. Everything we find, we say, well, that's not really who I am. I don't know if that I really believe that anymore. I'm not so identified with these thoughts and feelings anymore. So we're kind of reducing ourselves to zero, and that's kind of a scary thing, right? But I think it's an important stage for you. I really do. I'm still getting this feeling of a large body of water. I don't know if you live by the ocean, or maybe it's that grandma, maybe it's this contemporary male energy. There's some connection with a large body of water here for you. And I don't think that's just a symbol or a metaphor, but it does make me think of this idea that we're all just drops of consciousness. In the vast ocean of the universe, we are all individual drops. We are individual, but we are also the same. We are also not individual, right? We are one, but we are the many as well. So it's holding those two beliefs that I am an individual, I am distinct, I have thoughts and feelings and values and intentions, I have a personality. Sometimes some people would disagree with that. But at the same time, I am not any of these things. Right? So you're in a very interesting position in your life right now. And I think you have this kind of big, it's a very kind of big spiritual moment for you. But let's look at the mystery card. This video is getting a little bit long. I've got some other signs to get to today. Can't give all my time to Scorpio, though I would like to continue on this this train of thought. But let's try to contain things a little bit here. All right. Let's see. What do we think this is going to be? Well, I'd like to see. Back to this person for a second. Hang on a second. Back to this contemporary male. I think it's a male energy, sibling, friend, maybe it's a spouse, but it's someone about your age, not with you in the flesh anymore. I wonder if there was, and maybe I'm getting an Aquarius symbol, maybe it's an Aquarius person, but I'm getting this idea that, did the two of you promise something to each other? I feel like there was some kind of an oath or some kind of a promise, like when you're kids or something, that you'll promise your best friend, when we get older, we're going to do this thing. Something like that. I feel like the two of you maybe had some sort of, like you promised something to each other. And now I think you have the opportunity to fulfill that, even though this person's not with you in the flesh any longer. You're still perhaps considering going forward and doing that anyway, right? To fulfill that oath, that promise, right? Kind of a pinky promise sort of thing. Anyway, the mystery card, it's hard to say because we've got all this major arcana energy here. And that's why I know that this is a very big, significant spiritual moment for you in your life. Okay. I don't know what to predict here, honestly. We have the Fool, we have the Zero, I want the One. I want the Magician. We have no self, I want the self. Yeah? And to me, that's going to be like, once we tear things down and realize that underneath it all, there's nothing, now we can rebuild ourselves, according to our intentions, according to our spirit, according to our experience with God, Goddess, Deity, right? More along these kind of lines of our own truth and path and harmony and resonance. So I want to see the Magician card. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. No, it's a 7. But the 7 of Wands is still us defending ourselves, right? Look at that. What's that person doing? Defending themselves, right? And so to me, this card belongs right around here somewhere. That even though there is this idea of kind of shedding our skin, shedding our personality, our beliefs and our values, our habits, our defenses, our conditionings, our coping strategies, there's still this idea that we're trying to defend. We don't want to let go of everything. There's something that we still believe in that we're not letting go of, right? So maybe, and I'm saying this is a good thing, because maybe this idea of returning to absolute zero is not what we want. There is something that at the end of it all, you will not let go of. There is this core belief or value or sense of self that you have, and you're going to defend that. Maybe you're not ready to completely go, to this zero state and then rebuild, that there is something. And maybe this something has to do with this oath or promise, or this other, peer contemporary person that we were talking about. So I see that there is this defending of ourselves here. I think this is a very interesting confirmation card. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around for that, click on the link that's either up here in the corner or down in the video description. New readings for Scorpio every Wednesday and Sunday, 6 a.m. Chicago time, but I'm here every day. Just come on back tomorrow, okay? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment for me. Let me know how you're doing. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and I'm not going to put that plaque on the shelf there. It wouldn't fit the vibe of the channel. But we're all in this together. I'll see you tomorrow.